Hello everyone, we're on to a new project here. We don't have a lot of finished projects, but I have to jump back and forth to keep the flow here. One of the things I got to do is the FORESTAY here, which holds up our furling. It has 4 large bolts that go right through the bow and then to that backing plate, which I guess doubles as a protector for the anchor hitting the bow. That's what I thought it was at first, to be honest, when I first saw it. But I realized now that is the backing plate for the bolts that hold this FORESTAY up. So this is basically like the chain plate. It's got 4 bolts all the way through here and then 2 through the deck here. And I see some rust on the heads of the bolts on the other side. Now, since we've had so many bolts breaking off for our chain plates, this I definitely want to address. You can see there's barely even any threads of that bolt sticking out past the nut. That does not look very good. And that's just something else here we're going to address while we're on the hard in Trinidad. So I got my wrenches out. I'm going to start taking this apart. Alright, this is what's going on. Got to remove that plate in the front there. I need to replace these 4 bolts. And with that plate off, I can sand the bow. Gonna be painting there. I made a new metal piece here, so I did some fairing and I got to sand all that. There's not much space to get in there, but needless to say, I still have to replace these bolts. So I took 3 bolts off and this plate's lifting up. Now I've loosened off my backstay as far as I can go. I put 2 halyards down here to the deck and I got them really snug. And as I loosened these bolts off, this plate was still coming up, and I really don't think that should be happening. I tried tying a rope here just from my top of the furler here down to a pin, which is closer to these bolts that are still in, trying to get more slack. Now you see slack here, but really I need slack down here because this is where the tension is. There shouldn't be any tension at this point. I realized that still by having my jib halyard, which is the rope that pulls the sail up, having that tension would be pulling on this. I didn't think it'd be pulling that much, but I guess that and the weight of this whole assembly coming back was enough. What I'm doing now is I'm going to pop 3 bolts out that I already removed, leaving just this one. I'm going to slide that plate out of the way and then put in this longer bolt that I have. I found this longer bolt. This is definitely not a permanent bolt. It's just like zinc coated or something. But just to be able to keep this plate down and to prevent anything catastrophic happening. I really think I'm doing this right, so I'm not exactly sure why there's still so much tension on here. It could just be the weight of this furler, but I just want to be safer than sorry. So these bolts are already off. I'm just going to punch them through. They're really tough to get off, and I don't know if you can see it in the video, but there was only half the threads of that little nut. This is a very small nut, and it was barely even into this. So there was like almost nothing holding that up. I did not like that situation at all. These bolts are bent a bit. Other than the bend, they're still in better shape than the chain plate ones I had are. I don't think I'm going to be able to bend that thing around. I'm going to just get this bolt on here to pull that back forward and see where we're at. The bolt's not even lining up anymore. I have to tap it in. It's way longer than I needed. This way at least I know if this thing decides to go, it's not going to go far. Got 3 halyards now pulling this mast forward. There she is, she's loose. This thing still didn't drop down, but at least now I can disconnect it. Gonna remove that last bolt now. Might be overcautious, but I feel better having 3 halyards holding the mast up than one. All 3 of the bolts are bent a bit. I see why riggers always have a helper with them. It's difficult to be in 2 places at once all the time. There we go. there is our plate off. And the condition of the last bolt, it's not great. They're all bent like that. Not exactly sure why they're bending like that. I guess just the angle of the boat. I'm gonna put washers on there. Maybe that'll help a little bit. Just small washers. I'm definitely gonna want to reseat this thing. So I think I need to get this chain out of the way. Well, I got it this far. I should probably remove these last two bolts and replace them all. Get it out of the way and try and make some room here so I can remove those last two bolts. If I went this far, I might as well secure the whole thing. Now what I'm trying to do, just want to secure this chain separately so I can ease off on the defurler or FORESTAY. FORESTAY's moving out of the way. Couple half hitches in there. Now this whole contraption should be removable. There we go. So I'm gonna clean all that up. I'm gonna use butyl tape on this. I should be able to buy more here, but that's what it looks like underneath the bow, or underneath the bow roller. Just a giant chunk of fiberglass. Definitely a good idea to seal that all up. Keep the moisture from getting down into the bolts. I'm glad I did it. There's not too much to clean up off the back of this, but now that it's off, I'm not going to waste any time, and I'm going to start sanding all this stuff around this bow, grind off the excess here because I want to get that roller down lower, as low as I can. It was raised quite a bit. I'm not exactly sure why, but one hint is that those bolts only had half a nut holding them on, which is scary as hell. I'm going to grind this down and get it as flat as I can. I installed this just a little bit proud of here, not knowing it was proud of there because I was going by looking at the bow roller. It was still even higher than this, so I was below it, but now that I see it, I'm a bit higher. But I have a lot of fiberglass here I can grind off and then start down below. This is probably like 4,200. I use a chisel for that. But I'm gonna do that later. Let's get down below and sand the bow. Just giving it a little wet sand now with some 400. And I think that's gonna be more than enough here for the bow. And we'll wash it and then prep it for paint with some, just prep the area, clean it, and tape it. And I can get started. Dish and soap to get off any residues, dirt, waxes, oils. I know you're not going to see here, but I'm going to be painting right over this. Right? Oh, refreshing. Sorry, people in Canada, they're freezing right now. Hot here as it is cold there. Gonna grab some tape and mask this off. I'm hoping that we have enough time here to paint it. I'll have to see once I'm ready. Got this bow roller bolted down now. What I'm trying to do now is pull the FORESTAY down to it. Now this was raised a bit. There's a bit of a gap now, but there was a lot more of a gap with the bolts that are on there before, and the nuts are just hanging from a thread. Very, very unsettling to find that. So what I used here is, if you can see it, hopefully, a pulley system. I just rigged up here with some rope and the pin here to pull down, trying to straighten up this halyard. I managed to get an owl through, so it's like a pointed screwdriver. Now I'm going to use a center punch. It's nice and tapered. I think I can tap that through here. Hopefully take out this center punch with this. that going through now. You can see my halyard straightening out. My FORESTAY. Now what I want to do is start removing that, and then I can hopefully pry down on this and get this pin in there. That's going to be the final challenge here. Definitely tighten this up now. There. That should help. Almost there, but it's not. I think I need two people. I'm going to go grab Mary. Without knocking it out, I want you to step on that and put some weight onto it while I try and tap this pin in here. Gotta go further. See, I just angled it up a lot.
Yeah.
So it should go right in. That was a lot of tension on that. That's all for today. We got another project done. Thanks a lot for watching. We really hope you like this video and choose to share with your friends. We now have our FORESTAY chain plates serviced and feel safer because of it, and we're so glad we got it done. As usual, boat jobs don't go as smooth as intended, but they get done nonetheless. We hope you choose to subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next episode of Hard Knot Life Sailing.